Okay, so I'm gonna go back to sharing my screen and talk a little bit about a demo slam. So this is my first time ever hosting a demo slam. Jason Borgen, who I work with, the Chief Technology Officer, suggested it, and I think it's a great idea. It's a fun, fast-paced sort of extravaganza. Each presenter has 3 minutes to share their favorite tip or tool or trick. At the end, they have to say slam. And we have your teacher stories that Debbie's going to read to us to help us fill the transition time between. And we're hoping that we'll be able to, in the next 20 minutes, fit in these 4 wonderful Santa Cruz County teachers and presenters to share with us their expertise. So first up is Robert. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to have Debbie share a teacher story while Robert gets set up for his slam.
All right, so I am looking at the responses for the teacher stories. We have 12 responses, and the first one is cracking me up because I taught 7th grade social studies, and so I can totally relate to this. So it says, we were learning about the Renaissance art and comparing it to art samples from the Middle Ages, which I totally did when I was teaching. I asked for students to post in the chat some differences they saw. Students' post to the class was more nudity. And then the student feverishly tried to explain that he was making an observation on the art, not a request to see more nudity. So I thought that was excellent. And I remember teaching about the Renaissance art and having, that there was quite a bit of nudity and it was quite entertaining. So that was an awesome, memorable story.
I'm so glad you shared that one, Debbie. That one stood out to me
Totally
as well.
cracked me up.
Okay, on that note, Robert, it's your turn. You get to take it away.
Okay, cool. I'm going to be talking today about Edu Protocols. Edu Protocols I learned about last spring as a part of the Q conference, and it was one of those things. I don't know if you've gone to a conference where everyone at the conference is talking about one thing, and they keep saying this word, and you don't know what this word is, so you have to go look it up. And so I found out all about Edu Protocols. It's a couple books now, written by Marlena Shaw and John Caripo, and it's basically a bunch of strategies and routines that you can use either in person or online. They're great for online. Angelique's holding up the book right there, the field guide #1. It really helps students focus on content rather than procedure. So it's routinized so that you use these over and over again so that the kids are really focusing on procedure. I am going to share with you a few of my favorites that I've been using recently. So I have a link page here I'm going to put in the chat in a minute. But one of my favorite ones is Thin Slides. So Thin Slides, it's quick, it gets kids thinking. You create a slide deck where you have the kids respond to a prompt with 1 word or phrase, 1 image, and 1 slide in 3 minutes. My kids can't do it in 5 minutes. So, but the goal is to make it routine. Thin Slide, for example, I had the kids do, what's a career you'd like to have when you grow up? This was part of College and Career Week. And so what the kids do is they have 3 minutes to populate a slide. They choose a slide, and then they have 4 seconds to present their slide. So not only is it promoting technology, but also public speaking and presenting and that kind of stuff. And then you can use it for community building, but also for content. You could use it for vocabulary, for readers, writers workshop, however you want to do that. Another one that I've been doing, which I really, really love, is called The Fast and the Curious. And this is basically a quiz every day of the week. And the purpose is to get the kids mastery on vocabulary or math facts or something like that. I've been doing one this week using quizzes. You can use quizzes, Kahoot, or anything like that. This is the Fast and Curious on the Age of Exploration. My kids got a 63% on Monday. They got a 93% today. They are so engaged and so stoked when they see that percentage go up. I assign the independent link as homework, so then they can go practice and get a better score than they got the day before. I don't record the scores. It's very, very low. They're not nervous about it. It doesn't go towards grades. It's just a way to get the content out there. So I've been doing that one a lot. I really like. We've been doing 8 parts, and we've been doing this one is as a part of our kind of like picture of the day. I do a thinking routine, the See, Think, Wonder with a picture of the day. So I might give them a picture like this one from the New York Times, what's going on in this picture, give them this picture. They then have to, with a partner, fill in all of these parts of speech are in this frame, and then write a paragraph about that picture. Could be informational text, could be could be a narrative, however you want to structure it. Really a great way to just kind of work in grammar instruction and in an engaging way. The last one that I'm going to share with you is called Buka Kucha. I'm just starting this one. It is basically just another way to do an online reader's journal. Basically, you set them up for a month and you give them a bunch of prompts to respond to. I haven't dug into it yet, but I'm going to put this link in the chat so you can look at it yourself and slam.
Bravo! Thank you, Robert. I love me some Edge protocols. Thank you for sharing that. Debbie's going to read another teacher story, and then we have our next demo slam coming up.
Awesome. And it looks like Robert put his link in the chat too. So thank you for, and I know Steph will send out a follow-up and send out all these things. Okay, so here's one that just made me kind of tear up a little bit. When spontaneously, after a student VIP presentation where the VIP shared he wanted to be the best basketball player ever, all students began unmuting, saying they believed in the student, thought he would reach his goal, etc. Those who didn't want to speak wrote in the chat, "It was the moment that gave me goosebumps." Love it. Kids supporting each other and showing their resiliency. And I just love that story. Thank you, whoever shared that.
Thanks, Debbie. That is a really nice one. I love that encouragement. Okay, next up we have Stephanie.
Hello, everyone. So I love to start class right when the bell rings. I'm very punctual. I want my students to be punctual. And with distance learning, what I found is that I can't do that because kids are logging on right exactly at 8:30 or maybe a minute or two late, and maybe their internet is slow. And so there's this period of time right at the beginning where some kids are in, some kids aren't in yet. And I have warm-up questions, but usually I want to kind of explain those and get kids going. And so I want everyone to come into the Zoom before I start all the content. And I would try at the beginning to like chit chat or whatever, but kids won't talk to me when they're all in the Zoom. So I stumbled upon something more creative. So I use Pear Deck a lot. And so here I've got, when students come into the Zoom, they see this, so they know that they need to join my Pear Deck right away. And then I have something for them to like draw or color. So here's one, let's build a snow person. And so this is just a way to keep kids engaged while they're waiting for everyone to get there. And then once everyone's in, I say, oh, let me share all your responses. And I show all the different creations they've made. Here one is very creative. And their personalities come out a little bit more. He's wearing a vest. They like to see their creations. And then because Pear Deck, when you share answers, they're anonymous. The kids aren't afraid to like just be really silly with it. So that's been one fun way to kind of get class started. I feel like I'm getting to know their personalities a little bit better and they're more engaged. And the bonus, everyone's already in my Pear Deck by the time we all get into the Zoom. So that's been good. I also teach AP Environmental Science. And so those are seniors mostly. So I do something a little bit different. I've been taking either the super quiz from the Mercury News or the weekend edition puzzler with Lulu Garcia Navarro and Will Shorts, and I make them my warm up. And I'll actually start class for my AP kids. I'll start doing this about a minute before class officially starts. And I've noticed they're all logging in a little bit earlier because they love to best each other at these things. So this was one from NPR, R and F, every answer is a word or phrase. The only consonants are R or F and all the rest are vowels. So outbreak of public anger would be furor, a monk would be a friar, a worker who put shingles on would be a roofer. And so we go through these and kids are unmuting themselves and trying to be the first person to say what the answer is. And and then once we're done with it, everyone's in the Zoom and we are ready to start content. So that's been kind of my way to start class lately. and it's been working really well. So slam.
Thanks, Stephanie. That's so creative. I love all those snowmen and seeing that, and look at everybody so excited. What a great idea. Bonus points that they're already in that Pear Deck up and running when class time starts. Amazing. Thank you so much. All right, Debbie, will you take it away with another story before Kate does her slam?
I will. I have a very silly one. Students asked me to host their Pepsi Club. I agreed, only to find out that they had been turned down by 5 other teachers. Why? Because the club consisted of 15 freshman boys who would spend every meeting yelling about how Coca-Cola is awful, yelling about how Pepsi was amazing, and yelling the ingredients in a can of Pepsi aloud in unison. Really annoying, haha, but great kids. That is one brave teacher. That's all I can say.
Thanks. Thank you to whoever shared that story. Okay, next up we have Kate.
All right, thanks. I loved using music in my classroom. I always had music playing when students come in the door in the morning. It just helps to set a good vibe. And so I'm going to share with you adding music to your slides. You might add it, as Stephanie did today, as a welcome intro music, or might transition, or it might transition you into the next part of your day, or give students a little brain break or a movement break. And so I'm going to share a presentation that I created for SBC Day. This was just for when teachers came, but it's just an example of how I have the audio included on my slide here. And you can add music in a lot of different ways. You can put in a YouTube video. You could even play something in Spotify in another tab. The reason I like to insert it right on my slides is it's always nice to have fewer tabs going. And in Google Meet, which we use in Pajaro, sharing one tab is the best for audio. And this gives you, one tab that's got audio and visual. So when I go into present mode, I can play my music. And my instructions and everything are right on that slide, welcoming students. It's all in one place. Wanted to show you that in Google Slides, when you add audio, you have some formatting options. Over here, I've got it set to play on click, but you can have it start automatically. And then you can choose the volume when presenting. And I find that if you have it low at like just a volume of 10 or 11, you're able to hear it in the background, but still talk over it. Other format options I wanted to show you were just that you can also have it stop on slide change, or how I have it now. I could be presenting and move through a few slides and it would still continue playing my song until the end. The way that I like to find music for Google Slides, when you go to Insert Audio, it brings up your Google Drive. So sharing in Google Slides, it only works with audio files that are stored in your drive. MP3 and WAV files all work. And so the place that I like to find those is at YouTube Studio. So if you go to youtube.com and click on your profile and select YouTube Studio, there's a whole audio library. And that's super cool because it's all copyright free, and you can search and filter by duration. I really like to use that feature. Oftentimes I'm looking for something just 3 minutes, right, for my 3-minute stretch break. So if I type that in and sort by duration, now all of these tracks are exactly 3 minutes. Once I've sorted by duration, I look at the genre and the mood. Maybe I don't want something country and happy. Maybe that's not what my students like. So I find something, dance and electronic, funky. You can click play to sample the track. If you really like it, you download it. And then once it's downloaded, right, you have to go to your drive. You can say new, file upload, and find that download, add it to your drive, and then you can pop it right into your slides. The YouTube Studio library, it has great study music, right? So it's not going to be the top 40 tracks that maybe your students are familiar with, but that gives us good background music so that they're not wanting to sing along to the lyrics. And the way that allows you to search makes it easy to find the perfect track. I've created a whole doc with those steps here, so I'm going to share that in the chat. And slam.
Thanks, Kate. I think I just leveled up my presentation abilities. I've just been inputting my music by putting in a YouTube video, and I didn't know there was that whole library. So thank you. That's amazing. Debbie, do you want to share another story while we wait for our last slam?
Yep, I will. So here's a sweet one, a memorable kid story. I had a student who tipped me $4 for being the best teacher. His mom said he went home the night before and had big feelings about teachers not being paid enough and thought that teachers are so important that he wanted to give me his allowance money. It was the book fair at school that week, so the student and I went and picked out a book for our classroom using the money that he gave me. That's an awesome story.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet. Thanks, Debbie. Okay, we have our last presenter. So we have Dana here with her slam. Thank you, Dana.
Hey, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Dana Thompson. I teach 5th grade at Boulder Creek Elementary School. And today, I just wanted to talk about why I'm so obsessed with Padlet. I'm sure all of you are familiar with Padlet. My students all on a regular basis accuse me of being too obsessed with Padlet, but I just love how quick and easy it is. I like Pear Deck, but I'm not always able to create like this big fancy slideshow. And I feel like Padlet is a quick, easy way to incorporate just student feedback, engagement, and involvement. So I'm just gonna share a few creative ways that I've used Padlet this year. So let me just share my slide. Yeah, so I just created this doc that I'll share with you guys, but I found a great article on just some creative ways to use Padlet in your classroom. And I found with Readers and Writers Workshop, like all the things that I love about Readers and Writers Workshop, collaborating, working with a partner, all those things are so hard in this like Zoom digital world. But I found Padlet really allows students to have engagement. And it's just easy. It's a quick interactive tool. And I love that I get to hear from everybody instead of the same, 5 students that are always wanting to participate. This allows me to see what all of my students are thinking about whatever it is we're learning. I love that they can record videos of themselves really easy on it. They can take pictures of things, art, whatever it may be. So there's just so many ways to share student work. And some ways I've used it is like celebrating writing, some icebreaker activities, and so much more. So I'll just share a few Padlets here. So at the very beginning of the year, I had the students do a culture bag where they picked 3 items that would describe them and talk about them. It's something I would normally do in the classroom. And I thought, well, how can I still do this in this digital world? And so I created like a sample one. And then it was pretty cool. So all the kids made their little videos of themselves with their 3 items. And then I had the kids go in and comment and just give feedback. So they had to watch each other's videos. So it was like that extra level of responding and interacting with each other. And then one thing I did notice that if they're not logged in on a school computer, that comes up anonymous. So we had to work that kink out of making sure that we used our names at the top, just in case, to make sure we knew whose work was whose. And then I often use it to publish writing pieces. So I had them publish their name essay, and I gave them the choice. If they wanted, they could video it, or they could just cut and paste it. Again, I had the kids comment and give like a positive comment on everyone's work. Just other things. I just created this nonfiction Padlet. And I was able to create a picture or upload a picture of the book that we're using onto the back of the Padlet. So you don't even have to use just the like boring Padlet designs that they have available. You can actually upload your own pictures, which makes it a little more custom. Yeah, so just a lot of different ways. I worked it with Mentor Text and Writers Workshop. We read the story 11, and then they had to think about 2 things that they were going to try in their writing and talk about things they noticed that the author did. So I just found it's a quick, easy way to just have the kids stay engaged, they love like seeing their stuff up there. They love commenting on each other's work. So yeah, I guess that's it. And then for, making predictions was another one. And just, there's so many ideas and options. All right, slam.
Thanks, Dana. Thank you. That was amazing. That was so inspiring. I didn't know that you could put a custom image on the back of your Padlet.
Yeah.
So just learned. Thank you.
And I'll put the link to the doc in the chat for everybody.
Perfect. And I'll reach out to our Demo Slam presenters and have them add their links to their extra resources into that resource document so that, again, we just keep everything in one place. I know that, so there's not so many things to track down. So thank you everybody so much. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen and we're going to wrap up. So what's on our horizon ahead for the Think Tank 2020, 2021 and beyond is we're just coming back together. We'll be meeting monthly, so expect an email soon with the next meeting date and time. And the idea is that really you all are the ones that are steering the ship. So last time, based on your input of wanting more tips and tricks for takeaways to use in your classroom, we added the demo slams into the meeting. So we're really trying to do whatever we can to make these meetings the most meaningful and powerful for you. And so on that note, we do have a feedback form that's on the resource document for today. The link is, again, sccoe.link/thinktank2020. And if you go ahead and click on this link for the feedback form, it's feedback about the meeting tonight, and then also a place to add your question or questions that you want to use for the prompts for the next meeting. We use those to seed that sort of prompt form. So I have a few more pieces to talk about after this, so I'm going to give you the next 5 minutes. You're welcome to turn your camera off if you'd like to, and just take the next 5 minutes to fill out that feedback form. I am going to, once I start the timer, go ahead and put the direct link to that feedback form in the chat in case that helps. About 30 seconds. Finish up that feedback. Come on back. Debbie just put in the chat an appreciation of how amazing and awesome those demo slams were. So thank you so much to our presenters for sharing your expertise. That was amazing. And I just want to give a quick plug. You have a little bit of homework on that resource document. Like I said, we're working on seeding and starting a professional development library that's available on demand. And just like we need your feedback for the think tank, we would really appreciate it if you have a moment to sort of fill out the feedback form and give us insight into what content you would be looking for in something like that. So that's on that resource document. If you have a moment to do that after today's meeting. And Jason would be upset at me if I let you all go without reminding you to hold the date for March 18th through 27th is Q. And so Robert plugged that during his demo slam. That was where he heard EduProtocols. It's a really inspiring conference. And because it's virtual, it's a lot cheaper than it has been in the past. So I highly recommend that you look at it. And one of our—
I am not throwing away my—
Sorry.
but will never be true.
Oh no.
Everything.
One of our own, Erin, is going to be speaking at Spring Q. So go see her. And I blew the surprise for our ending song, but I invite you to put a thank in the tank. Go ahead and share an appreciation in the chat on your way out. And thank you all so much for spending your time with us today. I really appreciate it.
Free until those in bondage have the same rights as you and me. You and I do or die. Wait till I sally in on a stallion with the first black battalion. Never another shot. Geniuses, lower your voices. You keep out of trouble and you double your choices. I'm with you, but the situation is fraught. You've got to be carefully taught. If you talk, you're gonna get shot. Bird, check what we got. Mr. Lafayette, hard rock like Lancelot. I think your pants look hot. Lawrence, I like you a lot. Let's hatch a plot blacker than the kettle calling the pot. What are the odds that to put us all in one spot? Pop in a squad and conventional
Thanks,
wisdom like
everybody.
that. A bunch of
Bye.
revolutionary
Thank
manumission
you.
abolitionists. Give me a position, show me where the ammunition is. Oh, am I talking too loud? Sometimes I get overexcited, shoot off at the mouth. I never had a group of friends before. I promise that I'll make y'all proud. Let's get this guy in front of a crowd. I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Hey, yo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Hey, yo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. Everybody sing! Whoa, whoa, whoa! Hey! Whoa!
Bye. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Oh, you're on mute.
I was keeping track and there were 34 people